So I was asked by one of my subscribers to do a video on my finishing technique. And let's be honest, my finishing is just a combination of a bunch of YouTube videos that I've watched from other turners, and took a little bit from each of them and kind of made my own technique. So that's what it is. It's nothing I've invented by any means, but it's something that I've kind of put together, and I'm grateful for the assistance from other wood turners. So I'm going to take a little more time on this video and show you guys how I do my finishes. Right now I'm rough sanding the outside with 60 grit and spot sanding some of the spots there that need a little more attention, and I'll move all the way up to 320 grit. So that's what I'll do now. Spot sanding pretty much done. I'm going to go over it now and just sand it while it's turning and smooth all that out before I advance up to 80 grit. Okay, so I finished my 60 grit. I used the UV epoxy resin on the cracks. I had two really small cracks here. I filled in with that, and now I'll move up right through now to 320. And at 320, I will do another technique I use to really smooth this out before I put the epoxy on it. Okay, so now I've sanded up to 240. So before I go any higher, I'm going to spray this with water and alcohol, give it a good spritz, and then let it dry. And that's going to make the wood fibers stand up and make it a little easier to just get that little extra silky sanding feel on this here. So here we go. And when this dries, you're going to feel it, and then you can take that off, take that little rough edge off with the 320. So we'll let this spin for 10 or 15 minutes till it dries. So there you have it. We got that sanded, ready for epoxy. So I'm going to give it a wipe with just a damp cloth just to get all the dust off, any little residual dust off of it, and then we'll coat this with epoxy. Let that dry for 24 hours, and tomorrow we'll come back and we'll start sanding, and very likely have to apply a second coat just for some spots, because especially where the end grain exists, it's going to really suck that epoxy up. So we'll go mix up some epoxy. Okay, so turn your lathe down to slow as you can and start putting this on. Try to get it into all the little nooks and crannies, whatever you got there. You shouldn't have too much, but if there's any, this will fill it in quite nicely. And I just push it in with a latex glove on my hand. You can really see how the grain comes out in this wood once you add that in there. Doesn't even hurt to reverse your lathe if you have that capability, and get it going in the other way too. I'm very fortunate I have a lathe that you can turn around pretty easy. Shout out to One Way. They're awesome. So I guess I should also say this is Pro Series from Designer Epoxy. That's the what I'm coating it with here. Give it a good thick coat because the wood's going to absorb some of this. There. So now we're going to let that turn really slow setting on the lathe, and I'm going to let that turn till it dries. That'll prevent sagging, and we're going to give it a shot with a heat gun here just to make sure there's no bubbles, and that'll be it until tomorrow. Check back on it in about an hour and see if I need to add any more, but that looks pretty good. I've obviously, looks like I poured a little too much, but anyway, you don't have to get it perfectly smooth or anything. We're going to sand this again tomorrow, pretty much right back down to the wood. This is just to seal the wood. Final coat is not going to be epoxy, it's going to be Waterlux. Tomorrow we're going to come back and we'll sand this off. The main thing is to make sure that you cover everything. Don't miss any spots. This back to 320 again. It still needs another coat of epoxy. As you can see, there's some bare wood here, a little bit up here too. So we're going to give this one more coat of epoxy and sand it back again tomorrow, and then we'll start with the Waterlux. I've sanded this to 320. You can go higher if you want, it's really up to you. I stop at 320 because I just find the paper plugs up after that, and it's really just a waste. And I don't find it looks any better, even if I go to 800. So I'm gonna wipe this down with water, with just a wet rag first, get the dust off it, and then I'll wipe it with denatured alcohol, and then I'm going to add the first coat of Waterlux. And I go 24 hours between coats. So you give it a coat, put it in your kiln for the night, and let it cure. And then tomorrow start again with another process, steel wool, take all the rough off it, a little bit of a buff, and then denatured alcohol, and then another coat of Waterlux, and on and on. We do that 3 times. Very important to use a lint-free cloth when you do this as well. always sign my bowls with the date that I made it, what the wood is, and my signature. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry for a day, and then tomorrow we'll come back and we'll give her another coat.